Good evening. My name is Billy DiNapoli. Welcome to the North American Sports Report on Monday, January 5th, 2026. Okay, ladies and gents, we're going to get right to it. Got a lot of football to go over, and I have been hot down the stretch. 4-2 yesterday in the NFL, and 7-2 this week in the NFL, and 4-0 in college. We are 37, 29-2 in college, and now creeping towards the 500 mark at 69, 71-1 in the pros. Obviously, we gave you the 3 wins on the weekend, as we had given you the Seahawks and the Panthers, and we teased them both. We went over the games on Saturday, as the Buccaneers got the win, and the Seahawks got the top spot in the NFC by defeating the Niners 13-3. Of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not make the playoffs and did not win the division, because although they defeated Carolina 16-14 in the season finale, the Atlanta Falcons ruined the party, and they defeated the New Orleans Saints 19-17. And as I told you before, the 3-way tie favored Carolina. Only the 2-way tie favored Tampa. All 3 teams finished 8-9. Carolina Panthers win the NFC South. So, on Sunday, we gave you the Jags and Texans in a teaser. That was a winner. We gave you the Jags minus 13.5. That was a winner. We gave you the Saints plus 4.5. That was a winner. We gave you the Bengals minus 9.5. That was a loser, in spite of the Cleveland Browns not even scoring an offensive touchdown. We also gave you the Bengals and Saints in a teaser. Obviously, that was a loser. And we gave you the Chiefs and the Texans in a teaser. Now, this spread changed dramatically from the time I was on the air till the game went off. So, the Chiefs, which had opened minus 4.5, by game time they were minus 3. So, the teaser was plus 3. They lost by 2 to the Raiders, and the Texans-Chiefs teaser was a winner, if you bet it. 4-2 on Sunday and 7-2 for the week in the NFL. Let's go over some of these, shall we? We already went over Saturday. So Sunday, the Browns and the Bengals in obviously a game of 2 teams going nowhere. I did think the Bengals would play hard, because they had been playing hard, and I figured they would play it through to the end. They did not play a great game. Joe Burrow did throw 3 touchdown passes, but he threw 2 picks, and Shedeur Sanders did nothing. He was like 11 of 22 for 111 yards. The Browns, I don't even think the Browns had 200 yards. They had 111 yards passing and like 75 yards rushing. They didn't even have 200 yards of total offense, but they had a scoop and score fumble recovery and a pick 6. And that was basically all they needed. They added a couple of field goals and defeated the Bengals 20-18. And the story of this game is Myles Garrett gets the sack record, 23 sacks. So kudos to Myles Garrett. He breaks the NFL sack record previously held by Michael Strahan. There was a couple of guys, I do believe, that shared it. I know Strahan had it. Reggie White, Strahan had beat Reggie White's record, and now Myles Garrett has the record all to himself. They stopped the game for him, and it's funny because Zach Taylor, the coach of the Bengals, and some of the Bengal players, they actually complained that they stopped the game for Myles Garrett's sack record acknowledgement. That was douchey, by the way. Douchey by the Bengals. Anyway, Browns win 20-18. They finished 5-12. Bengals finished 6-11. That's all there is to talk about in that game. The Texans defeat the Colts 38-30. The Texans didn't play this whole game. They played a half, with C.J. Stroud, and they played well, but then they brought in backups, and they still were able to defeat the Colts 38-30. The Colts did play Riley Leonard from Notre Dame at quarterback, and he played well. I mean, he made some plays. I'm going to tell you what. I got the cover on this in the craziest of ways. This game is 32-30. The game is over. I'm going to lose it. The Texans kick off. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Colts have a ball, and they try that crazy, throw the ball, lateral it this way, lateral it that way, lateral it this way, and they lateral it right to a Texans defensive lineman who rumbles in for a touchdown with no time on the clock. So instead of the game ending 32-30, it ends up 38-30, and that was big for me because I would have lost both those teasers. That turned a 2-4 Sunday into a 4-2 Sunday on that very play. So I was a happy camper right there. I did have money on all these games too. Riley Leonard, 21 of 34, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He did not play bad. He had some nice long throws for touchdowns in this game. Pierce had 4 catches for 132 yards in both of those touchdown receptions. He was fantastic. Listen, the Colts, they moved the ball offensively. Again, kudos to the Texans, who really only played hard for a half because the Texans could see the Jaguars winning their game by a lot. They were crushing the Titans. So at half, the Texans knew that the division was over if they weren't getting the division. So they just said, they bailed on it. Get your guys out of there, which was smart. But in one half, Stroud was 14 of 23 for 169 yards and a touchdown. Had a quarterback rating of almost 100. Davis Mills came in to finish in the second half. He didn't do much. Just a solid game all around. They ran for 136 yards as well as throwing it for 230. 230 through the air total and 136 on the ground. And the Texans finish 12-5, but they will be the wild card. We'll get to those wild card matchups in a moment. Now, the game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were glued to, the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints from Atlanta, I'm just going to say this. The Buccaneers have no one to blame but themselves. When you're hoping for help and you got to back in, you get what you get. And they did not get the result that they wanted, although it looked like they were going to get that result. At one point, the game is 16-10, and the Saints are driving for what looks to be the winning score. There was only about, 3 minutes left in the game. They're driving, and Tyler Shuck throws a pick. And other than that pick, he had a pretty good game. 23 of 35 for 259, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 4 times and hampered by the Falcons' defense. But they were right there to win the game at the end. But after a long interception return, which had the Falcons inside the 20, the Falcons just basically ran the ball and kicked a field goal to ice the game at 19-10. The Saints did get a touchdown with 55 seconds left. As Shuck, I'm trying to remember how they got that last touchdown. It was a pass to Bell, right? Was that it? Yes, he hits Ronnie Bell for a touchdown. Shuck had rushed for a touchdown earlier in the game. He hits Ronnie Bell for a touchdown with 55 seconds left. The onside kick fails, and the Falcons kneel on the ball for a 19-17 victory, ending the Buccaneers season and winning the NFC South for the Carolina Panthers. Kirk Cousins, 18 of 32, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but they were not outstanding offensively all day. The game was kind of a defensive slugfest. The Saints did move the ball. They moved the ball well, but Shuck had the pick. They missed a field goal. They had some timely penalties that put them out of field goal range. It just wasn't a clean game by the Saints, but they were still right there to win it in the end. The interception sealed the deal, and the Falcons win 19-17. Who got that interception? Who got that pick? The game-sealing, D. Alford got the game-sealing interception, and all the people watching in Carolina were exulting as now the Panthers at 8-9 win the NFC South. In other games, the Giants defeated the Cowboys 34-17. The Cowboys didn't really play. I don't know why. Why wouldn't they play this game all the way to the end? It's not like they had to save themselves for anything. It was their last game of the season. But I actually had tickets to this game. Me and an old friend, we go every year at Dallas Giants. He's a Giants season ticket holder. We said rather than freeze our ass off in a meaningless football game of two teams going nowhere, we decided to sit here in headquarters in the den in the multi-TV plex and watch all the games. So we bagged on that, and boy, are we glad that we did. But they did play the game. Prescott only played not even a half, 7 of 11 for 70 yards. Milton came in 7 of 13 for 73 yards. The bright spot for the Cowboys was probably Jaden Blue, 16 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. But like I said, the Cowboys didn't really play in the second half. Jackson Dart, a nice day, 22 of 32, 230 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. No picks. Dart also ran 5 times for 33 yards. Singletary 9 for 27 and a touchdown. And Tyron Tracy 18 carries for 103 yards through that porous Cowboy defense. You know what? I always like this guy. He's like a Gunnar Oslowski. He's like a little poor man's wannabe Julian Edelman. I mean, nowhere in Edelman's league, but I mean, he's that type of player, a little slot receiver, and he had 8 catches for 102 yards in this game. One of the stars for the Giants. Jackson Dart again, a very nice start for him. They did see some good things from Jackson Dart. That is the only thing the Giants can hang their hats on this year. They finished 4-13. The Cowboys finished 7-9-1. And remember, beginning of the season, before the Micah Parsons trade, I picked the Cowboys to be 7-10 and win 7 games. And, you know, they are who we thought they were. That's it for the Cowboys. In other games, the Tennessee Titans actually drove down. Cam Ward rushes for a touchdown, 7-0 Titans early, and Cam Ward separates his shoulder on the touchdown lunge into the end zone as he's hit, as he scores, and that was it. After that, it was all Jacksonville Jaguars, and you know what? You knew that they were going to play hard. The Jaguars wanted to go into the playoffs strong. They win the division at 13-4. I'm sorry, Liam Cohen is one of my. There's a, let's see, Coach of the Year. You could say Vrabel, great. Obviously, the Patriot turnaround, but you know their schedule wasn't that tough. You could say Shanahan for the job he did with all the Niner injuries. Liam Cohen gets my vote, and Trevor Lawrence is just unbelievable. He has had the year that you listen. His sophomore year, they got into the playoffs. They won a game. They gave the Chiefs a good game. You were seeing that, and then he kind of dropped off. This year, Trevor Lawrence is back to be the guy he was drafted to be. Trevor Lawrence, 22 of 30, 255, 3 touchdowns. This guy accounted for 38 touchdowns this year. He had an incredible year. ETN didn't do much. They didn't have to really do too much. They were in control early. They only ran the ball for 70 yards as a team. Parker Washington continues to be the story, a number 3 wide receiver that's been playing like a number 1 all season. 5 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Strange, 6 catches for 52 and a touchdown. And again, a fantastic day by Lawrence and a fantastic game by the Jaguars defense. Obviously, you know, the Titans, they lose Cam as he went 3 for 3 for 52 yards and then rushed in a touchdown. Then he gets hurt. Cam Ward actually 4 out of his last 5 games, Cam Ward played good and maybe gives the Titans at least some promise heading into next season. But of course, they have to bring in Brandon Allen, who was 17 of 30 for 72 yards and just a freaking disaster. Rough day, rough season. Ends for the Titans, who finished 3-14. The Jaguars are the AFC South champs, 41-7 over the Titans. Packers-Vikings, this was just a game of all backups. and the Vikings defeated the Packers 16-3. I mean, the Packers, they didn't even play. They didn't play this game at all. I'll give you some of the numbers, not that there was any to look at. For the Vikings, they did start J.J. McCarthy. He did come back and play with that little hairline fracture in his hand, and I didn't think they would, but he had three good starts before he missed last week with yet another injury, which he's been prone to. And I think the Vikings wanted to see him have another good start and go into the season with that good feeling with J.J. J.J. was 14 of 23 for 182. He only played a half, played well, 16-3 of Vikings over the Packers. The Packers played a quarterback named Tune, their third-string quarterback. It was a disaster. They didn't even try. 16-3. The Packers limp into the playoffs at 9-7-1. We will get to the matchups in a second. The Buffalo Bills slaughtered the Jets 35-8. Mitchell Trubisky looked like Joe Montana as Josh Allen just started the first series just to complete his consecutive game streak, which is like, 100 and... I don't know what it is. Let's check. What is Josh Allen's consecutive game streak at now? Not really something I look at. Consecutive starts, 139 games. Wow. He's been in the league a long time. Okay, so that was it. He just went in the game and handed the ball off and started the game so he could complete his consecutive start streaks, which is apparently at 139. That is impressive. Congratulations to Josh Allen on his durability, considering what a physical player he is, always running the football, and he's, their Superman. So congratulations to Josh Allen. The Jets, just a long season ends. Mitchell Trubisky, listen to these numbers. 22 of 29 for 260 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Ray Davis, a backup running back, basically, for the Bills, 21 carries for 151 yards. The Jets should be ashamed of themselves. You know what? We're going to get to Black Monday and the coach firings, but I'd fire Aaron Glenn. You couldn't be any worse. 35-8, Bills will be on the road. They finished 12-5. Jets 3-14, and another miserable season comes to an end for the Jets. The Rams, they played hard. They finished 12-5 with a 37-20 thumping over the Cardinals. Now, listen, the Rams, they've struggled offensively the last couple of games. Maybe not statistically, but with turnovers and mistakes. And I know that they wanted to play this game out and go into the postseason on a type of a high note. And obviously, the win didn't really advance them. Actually, we're going to get to that. I think the win did advance them because they finished at the 5 and not the 6. The Rams will now be heading to Carolina. Instead of the Niners, who lost to Seattle, will be heading to Philly in the freezing cold. So the Rams, Matthew Stafford, 25 of 40, 259, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Again, Puka Nacua, he had 2 catches for 24 yards. They did start taking some of these guys out in the fourth quarter. They're going to get Devontae Adams back for the playoffs. They rested him. He had that hamstring injury, remember. Kyron Williams, 12 carries for 60 yards. Again, Stafford looked great. 259, 4 touchdowns, no picks. A 37-20 thumping of the Cardinals as the Rams go into the playoffs on a positive note. What else we got here for you? Sunday slate was a little abbreviated because we had the 2 games on Saturday. So the Chiefs and the Raiders played a meaningless game. Now, the Raiders knew that they had the first pick in the draft wrapped up because they saw the Giants win earlier in the day. So the Raiders defeat the Chiefs, who played a third-string quarterback, not even the backup. They played the third-string quarterback. They lose 14-12 in one of the ugliest games The NFL should erase the footage of this game. It should be erased from memory. I'm not even going to go into it. The Raiders defeat the Chiefs 14-12 on Travis Kelce's last game of his career, most likely, even though he hasn't announced it officially. Kelce had 3 catches for 12 yards. It was one of the ugliest games I've ever seen. The Chiefs actually somehow kicked a 4th field goal and got ahead. 12 to 11. And then the Raiders came down and kicked a field goal to seal the deal, 14-12. This game was ugly. Should have been erased from the annals of time. 14-12, Raiders defeat the Chiefs. The Raiders finished 3-14. The Chiefs are 6-11. The Broncos defeat the Chargers 19-3. The Chargers rested their entire team. They played Trey Lance. He looked terrible. The Chargers did not score an offensive touchdown, although they controlled the game in its entirety. They had a defensive pick 6 for a touchdown. Their offense did not score 4 field goals. That was it. They did not score a touchdown on offense. Again, sometimes the Denver Bronco offense is just stagnant at times, especially against a team that wasn't really playing. I think they wanted to go in on a high note. They had to win the game to secure the number 1 seed. And they were never in danger of losing the game. They just weren't ultra impressive. But what is ultra impressive is that Denver Broncos defense. And they have the 1 seed. They finished 14-3. And not that I'm not a Bo Nix fan, I am. He just can be hot and cold sometimes. I have seen Bo make a lot of big plays in the 4th quarter when he has to. But the offense has definitely been a tad inconsistent this season. 19-3, the Broncos secure the top spot in the AFC. The playoffs will go through Denver. 19-3 over the Chargers. Moving on, the Washington Commanders defeated the Eagles 24-17. 14-year, I think 14 or 15-year veteran Josh Johnson gets the win at quarterback for the Commanders. The Eagles rested everybody. 24-17 was the final there. That game was basically like a preseason game. The Bears actually played everybody in this game and lost to the Lions 19-16. I don't know. Listen, I know that the Bears still got the 2 seed, and they got that 2 seed because the Eagles didn't play. They didn't play. They treated the game like an exhibition game. But I'm here to tell you that the Bears played all their starters. They didn't let their foot off the gas. They were actually trailing 16-0, and they rallied on 2 Caleb Williams touchdowns and then the 2 two-point conversions. I mean, 20 of 33, 212, those 2 touchdowns I spoke of. I threw 1 to Loveland and 1 to Walker, and they rallied, and they got the 2-point conversions, and they tied the game at 16, only to eventually lose it 19-16 on a field goal. The Lions closed their season out at 9-8. Goff was 27 of 42, 331, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jahmyr Gibbs, 19 carries for 80 yards. Montgomery, 8 carries for 42. The Lions definitely played hard. This game was played for real. Even though at the end of the day it didn't matter because the Eagles didn't play their players and the Bears still have the 2 seed. But I don't know. I would have wanted to. I'm sure that Ben Johnson wanted to beat his old team. The Lions actually swept the Bears this year. But the Bears will still be the 2 seed, and they are the division champs of the NFC North. When the playoffs begin, 11-6 are the Bears, 9-8 finish the Lions, a 19-16 victory. The Patriots shredded the Miami Dolphins 38-10. Just a fantastic turnaround year for the Patriots, who finished their season at 14-3. But again, they will be the 2 seed because the Denver Broncos are the 1 seed. So the Patriots will be the 2 seed. They will be at home unless they play the Broncos. So let's take a look at the numbers from this game. Just a fantastic, fantastic year for Drake May. Drake May, 14 of 18 for 191 yards and a touchdown. The ball barely hit the ground, but of course they got him out of there. He played 2.5 quarters. Dobbs came in. He was 3 for 4 for 23, but they sat on the ball. Ramondre Stevenson, an amazing game. 2 touchdowns, 7 carries. 7 carries for 131 yards. Henderson also Another two. They had 4 rushing touchdowns. Henderson was 13 for 53. Travion Henderson, 13 to 53 for 2 touchdowns. And Ramondre Stevenson, 7 carries for 131, 19 yards a clip. 2 more touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. Just a dominant day for the New England Patriots. Quinn Ewers, 16 of 23, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, only 137 yards. The Dolphins didn't do much on offense at all. They had, let's see here. They had 64 yards rushing and 137 yards passing. They had 200 yards of total offense. They looked like they just wanted to get on the bus, get out of the cold, get on the airplane, go home, and make their vacation plans for the offseason. So 38-10, Patriots over the Dolphins. Dolphins finished 7-10. I'm telling you, if they don't fire Mike McDaniel, they are morons. The Patriots finished 14-3, and on to the playoffs they go. Now, the most exciting game of the weekend. Last night, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers playing for the AFC North title. This game was a back and forth affair. I have to tell you, I didn't give this game out, but I liked the Ravens in this game. I really did. I liked the Ravens in this game. I thought the Ravens were going to win this game. Now, I did pick the Ravens in a teaser, and I did win. I picked the Ravens, and I teased the over-under from 48.5 down to 42.5. I won this on DraftKings. This doesn't count on my picks. I wish I had given it out to the public as well. But I'm going to say this. Early in the game, the Ravens are up 10-0. It looks like it's all going their way. It was 10-3 at half when the Ravens stopped the Steelers on a 4th and 1 from the 1-yard line as time expires. And I want to say this. You got to kick a field goal right there. Your offense has been struggling. There was only 4 seconds left. They were like the 1.5-yard line. So you only had time for 1 play. If you don't get it in, the half is over. They should have kicked a field goal, 10-6, go in with a little momentum. When they made that stuff, I thought the Ravens had momentum. I really did. But then again, the Steelers came out in the second half, and they ended up taking the lead 13-10. Rodgers was 31 of 47 for 294, 1 touchdown, no picks. He played a great game. Gainwell had 8 receptions for 64 yards. Austin 3 for 55, but a big touchdown catch down the left sideline. It was like 35 yards late in the game. They were just, listen, the Steeler offense was a lot better with Aaron Rodgers under center this year. But that being said, Lamar Jackson did end up playing a great game, and Derrick Henry had 20 carries for 126 yards. Lamar was 11 of 18, 238 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. But what happened is they lost their star stud safety, Hamilton, during the game. And then another corner, I think it was Wiggins. They lost 2 guys in the secondary during the game, and they were not there for the end of the game for the 4th quarter. And it did affect the Ravens. It affected the Ravens in a bad way. Because the Ravens, they got up 17-13, and then the Steelers came right back down the field 20-17. But then Lamar throws another touchdown, and it was the same play. Lamar threw 2 long touchdown bombs to Zay Flowers, who got wide open both times. 4 catches for 138 yards as he was the receiving star for the Ravens. And the Ravens, after Flowers catches his 2nd long pass for a touchdown, the Ravens are up 24-20. And it's looking good. Then the Steelers drive down. He hits Austin on that long play down the left sideline that I mentioned, and it's 26-24. Rodgers brings him back, but there's still time left. There's 2 minutes left. There's 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the game. So they had the 2-minute warning plus a timeout, plenty of time for the Ravens. The Ravens go, but wait, what I'm missing here. After the Steelers score their touchdown to go up 26-24, they missed the extra point. Boswell's been great all year for the Steelers. And I got to admit, to his defense, the kick goes off and it's going straight. The wind comes and all of a sudden that thing curves to the right. and is no good. And you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to be what decides the game, because sure as shit, Lamar drives him down. He completes a 4th and 7 to Likely, where freaking what's his name? God, I'm freaking tired here. Oh God, who made a terrible defensive play? Give me a second here. Give me 1 second here. 1 second here. So on a 4th and 7, Lamar Jackson, he hits Likely, and Likely he's been on the raw end of some misfortune, stepping out of bounds in the playoff game for the game-winning touchdown. At the beginning of the season, he stepped out of bounds when they had the Chiefs beat, and he looked like he was going to be on the wrong end of it again. But there was a Steeler defensive back who, he just misplayed the ball. Otherwise, he would have knocked it down, and the game would be over. And I'm forgetting who it was. It's the guy they got in the trade from the Dolphins, the defensive back. What the heck's his name? Won a Super Bowl with the Rams. This is bothering me now, and I have to find out who it is because it's bothering me. Just give me 1 second here. I can't believe I'm forgetting this guy's name. He's a freaking stud. Jalen Ramsey. Thank you. Jalen Ramsey, who has been a stud his whole career with Jacksonville and won a Super Bowl with the Rams. But Jalen Ramsey has fallen out of favor as the Dolphins discarded him, and he is kind of an erratic. He does sometimes exhibit erratic behavior, but he has been an all-pro his career. Now, he has a beat on this ball where he could just knock it down and the game is over. And he just mistimed his jump, swipes and misses the dang ball, and next thing you know, Likely grabs the ball, grabs the reception. He had the corner in front of him and the safety breaking down on him, and he catches the ball between the two of them just because Ramsey misses knocking the ball down. He mistimed his jump. He misses making the play, and now the Ravens have a first down at the 26-yard line, 43 yards away. A 43-yard field goal attempt about to be taken by their fantastic rookie kicker, the kid Loop. Let's see. 1 second here. Yeah, I'm not doing a great job on this last game, am I? I'm not doing a great job. I felt terrible for this kid. So obviously he misses the 43-yard field goal, and that is how the Steelers win the division. And this kid had not missed a field goal of less than 50 yards all season. All season. Tyler Loop. Poor Tyler Loop. Bless his little heart. He had a great rookie year, and he had not missed one kick. So after Jackson on the 4th and 7 makes a great play, getting the ball to Likely, it looked like it was all over. It looks like it's all over. Isaiah Likely makes the grab, and you see Rodgers on the sideline, and he's got that grim look in his face. And Flowers had 2 touchdown receptions, 4 for 138. Walker 2 for 46, and Likely 2 for 32, including this huge 20-yard reception. And there it is, staring the victory in the face. The 43-yard field goal attempt is shanked right, and you could see it wasn't going to be good from the. It veered right as soon as he kicked it. The kid's crying. The Steelers are celebrating, and it was a heartbreaking way for the Ravens season to end. Who knows where they go now with John Harbaugh and what they're going to do there. I would imagine Lamar. They don't know. Lamar just turned 29 years old. You would think he still has a lot of prime left in him. Now, a lot of prime years, that is. Now, Lamar has rumors, which he says are BS, and Harbaugh says are BS, about him being late to meetings and falling asleep in meetings and being late to practice. Everybody says around the Ravens camp that this is just bullshit. But the Fox News that reported it said it came from reliable sources, and it was reported on various news outlets. Will Lamar Jackson be back with the Ravens? Will they look to move him? Will John Harbaugh be back? Because 8-9 and not making the playoffs is not what they were planning in Baltimore this year. But the Steelers at 10-7, 26-24 winners win the AFC North. Now let's get to our matchups for this coming week. Sorry about that last one here. I had my information right in front of me, and then I lost it and I had to punch it back up again. My apologies. Get a little music going here. All right. This weekend's exciting NFL playoff matchups. We will come on Saturday morning and we'll go over all of them. We'll give you the picks. I'm not giving you the picks right now, but we will cover all of them. But I want to give you the times and the matchups. So Saturday at 4:30, you'll have 2 games on Saturday. You'll have 2 games on Sunday. You're going to have 1 game on Monday. Okay? So Saturday, the Rams will travel to Carolina at 4:30, and the Rams are a 10.5-point favorite over Carolina. Remember, they were beaten by Carolina earlier in the season. The Rams minus 10.5 at Carolina. I think this ended up being a good matchup for the Rams because they will avoid cold weather climate to start things off, and maybe they can get a jump on their playoff run. I don't expect Carolina to win this game. I'm not picking this game yet, but I like the Rams. I don't know if I like the whole 10.5 thing. We might tease it. We'll get to that on Saturday. 8 p.m., it's the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears, 8 o'clock at night for what I'm sure will be the frozen Soldier Field. Now, this game actually opened up with the Packers as a 1.5-point favorite this morning, but it has already swung the other way where the Bears are 1.5-point favorites. Sunday, 4:30, the 49ers will travel to frigid Philadelphia. The Eagles are a 4.5-point favorite as Brock Purdy and the Niners will travel to Philly. That is a 4:30 start. The 8 o'clock game is the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert traveling to the New England Patriots, where the Patriots will host the playoff, and Drake May, for the first time, will be under center for his first playoff game. The Chargers at the Patriots, 8 p.m. Sunday night. The Patriots are a 3.5-point favorite. Monday night, the aforementioned Pittsburgh Steelers, who had their thrilling victory last night with poor Tyler Luke missing the field goal as time expired. They are a 3.5-point underdog hosting the Houston Texans. Monday Night Football. The Houston Texans, those Houston Texans that closed the season on a 9-game win streak, 12-5 with the best defense in the league, will go to what I'm certain will be freezing cold Pittsburgh as the Steelers will look to get some home cooking done as they are 3.5-point underdogs at home on Monday night. So that is the playoff layout for you. Rams, Carolina, and Green Bay, Chicago on Saturday. Niners, Eagles, and Chargers, Patriots on Sunday. And those are, 4 o'clock pre-games, 4:30 kickoff, and then 8 o'clock. So your game times are the same on Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday Night Football is the Texans at the Steelers. That is where we stand in the NFL. Now, we already gave you your college football playoff schedule. We'll be on Thursday to pregame the Canes. That line has shifted. The Canes are -3 now. It's gone from 3.5 to 3. The Canes a 3-point favorite in the Fiesta Bowl over Ole Miss. That is Thursday, January 8th at 7:30. Friday night, the 9th, it is Oregon and Indiana in the Peach Bowl, and that has shifted now from Indiana -4 to Indiana -3.5. So both those lines have shifted a half a point. Today in the NFL, Black Monday. Black Monday. Here are our coaching firings that we have thus far. Pete Carroll has been fired by the Las Vegas Raiders after the dismal 3-14 start and choosing to go with Geno Smith at quarterback. So Pete is gone. Jonathan Gannon has been fired from the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, is another casualty. Raheem Morris of the Atlanta Falcons was fired, as was GM Terry Fontenot, a complete house cleaning in Atlanta. Kevin Stefanski fired in Cleveland. Now listen, he mishandled the whole Shedeur Sanders and the quarterback rotation all year. He was kind of like I don't know. I thought he acted like a jerk-off handling that whole situation. And you know what? The Browns are 5-12, and once again, no playoffs. Listen, I know he got them to the playoffs a couple of times in his tenure there with Joe Flacco, and I forget who got him there the first time, but Stefanski did make the playoffs twice in his career with the Browns. Might have been Baker, but he did make the playoffs twice. He's out. Too many losing seasons, and he's an offensive guy, and the offense is going nowhere. So Stefanski out in Cleveland, Raheem Morris out in Atlanta, Fontenot, the GM, also out in Atlanta, Pete Carroll fired by the Raiders, and Jonathan Gannon fired by the Cards. There may be more to come. There may be more to come. We'll update that on Thursday when we see you for the Miami Hurricanes pregame for the Fiesta Bowl. That's it for me. I'm out. Good show tonight. Got a lot done. Went through a lot of good stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the North American Sports Report YouTube channel and like and follow us on Facebook. My name is Billy DiNapoli. You guys have a great night.